Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna from Flippin' Ain't Easy. And I do apologize in the delay in getting this thing started. As you can see behind me, I can't find the remote to this light to save my life. And then Jenna's got to play her video.
I'm not playing anything.
So yeah, that was the thing. We're scrambling around trying to look for this remote. And of course, I always have it here. And when I don't need it, I'm going to find it. That's just the way things work. So that aside, and Jenna's still playing on her YouTube. So want to know how you guys how your week was. Hopefully everything was really good. Hopefully the internet will continue to work fine. We haven't had any issues, but you know how that is.
I did. I just got kicked off of everything.
Oh, wow. Well, I got to tell you, if that happens, which I don't think it will, but knock on particle board here. If what happened on Monday happens today, I'm just going to set up the phone as a hotspot, and it'll be about a 2 or 3 minute delay. So hang in there. Whenever that happens, just hang in there with us like you usually do, and we'll get back on the air. So as you guys know, I'm scrambling around before the live. And that's just the way it is. It's just, part of the day. There's not enough hours in the day for me. Just the way I operate. Before the show, took some packages in to both UPS and FedEx. And I got to say, I'm pretty happy with the rates that I've set up for myself, negotiated with Ryan, the rep at FedEx. And we're talking like, heck, I had 3 packages, I believe it was on Tuesday or Wednesday, that 3 of the 4 packages that I would have sent by UPS that I shipped by FedEx, that was like $15 cheaper than normal. So than the UPS rate was telling me. So that's just kind of what I'm going to do. I'm going to compare rates when I'm running my labels. And, we're going to have pickups starting next week. We're going to end up paying $20 a week for pickups, like $4 a day. But if we do 90% of our packages by FedEx and have that pickup and not have to drive to UPS, then that's going to be where it's at. So that's what works for us. And we're making that work, eliminating the bubble and the poly bags from our large packages.
Well, the bubble's going inside the box now.
Yeah. Well, they should have been anyway.
Well, they were, but there's a lot more.
Yeah. So, we're just making it work. So, yeah. So there's no sign today, unless miraculously maybe it's on the floor somewhere. I mean, that's kind of, I swear to you, I have 2 of these remotes. There are one for each light behind me, the blue lights that are on. And these have always worked for the Flippin' Ain't Easy sign. So don't know what's going on today, but, the light is taking a break this week. So if you're with us right now, we have about 71 people, and people are still kind of rolling in. Please comment in the comment section in the chat and post your questions, maybe answer questions that are asked. That would be very helpful. If you're not able to make it, you're watching this after the fact, please comment down below. And no matter how you're watching this, just hit the like button. And, like most people do, they hit that like button, they get a sale within 24 hours. It just works, guys. So please do that. Today I wanted to just tell you about my sales. And, it's funny, I mentioned to Jenna, I had sort of a roller coaster ride this week in sales on the main account, where, it went from like Saturday wasn't all that great, like a $200 day, $300 day on Sunday, $680 day on Monday, then went down to $100 day on Tuesday. And then I'm like, wow, that's a big drop, And then I started telling Jenna about Tuesday. I said, well, I guess the servers are broken, and then, and I didn't joke and in jest. And then $280 Wednesday. I think we had no sales until like 8 o'clock at night, and then they all kind of hit.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, about $700, which was really strong. And then today about $300, and we still have, the evening sales, people getting home from work, end of the week, maybe going online, that kind of thing. So very, very optimistic about things are still in full gear. But, just having these dips in sales, it just made me think that you could be doing everything right. Replenishing your store with listings and value, sourcing everything correctly, listing, things, more things than you normally would. You could be doing even more things than you normally do and still have off days. And there's not a whole lot you're going to be able to do about it, except just keep plugging away, keep moving ahead. I used to, and you guys who watch the show for any length of time will know that I would run into a couple bad days and I would be like, uh-oh, what's going on? It's time to call eBay, right? And there's people who still do that. Like a rep's going to be able to do anything for you. It used to be that you could call eBay and tell the rep, can I get you to do a refresh on my store? And they'd go in and do a refresh. And then I guess people would swear by it. And within, 24, 48 hours, you would have, your sales back, right? And people would swear by it. But then when you called eBay, it became less and less of a thing where eBay wouldn't do it anymore and would even deny of its existence, which I think there might be a way they can do it. But there's a hard reset, but that's for stores that have a real major problem, like not getting any views at all, let alone sales. So, to me, whenever I run into and I didn't do it for this particular time, but whenever I run into a 1 or 2 day really slow down where things just, for whatever reason, don't seem to be normal, I go in and just do that sell similar thing, end item, sell similar. And within, I'd say 5 or 6 hours, usually things seem to kind of get back on track. So want to know what you guys how you're doing for sales. I'm gearing up for my trip next week. So that means I'm really getting in there and I've got to get some scheduled listings done as if I weren't here. Those items are going to list, because even if I wanted to just launch drafts from where I'm going to be, it's not going to be really possible. So I just need those, those items to list. So.
Well, you can draft them. If you draft them, I can.
No, I know, but why do that if I have the schedule feature? I can, simply just let it launch at a certain time.
You can turn that light on.
And okay. So hopefully it'll be a little bit better.
We go.
Okay. So that's kind of my plan for next week. And I had told Jenna this morning, I said, look, you do the shipping. I'm going to have to sit down with you on Monday, and I'm leaving Tuesday afternoon. So also Tuesday, and have you run the labels, because we run them on FedEx.com on some larger packages and on eBay. And I wanted to see how I compare the prices and decide which one I'm going to be using. So to have her do that, so that if there's any problems, I'm going to be here. I can kind of help her through. And then I think maybe to kind of just keep consistency on the secondary account, not the main account, have her, even though she doesn't like doing the listings, to get listings done, like just 5 a day. And I know she doesn't like to do it, but I posed the question, and look, we don't like to talk about these kind of things, but I posed the question to her, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if I just keel over one day? And she's like, don't talk about that. But it's a real conversation. If there's still a way to make money, this is a viable business, and she has no idea what I'm doing behind the scenes. Albeit sourcing, I want to teach her that. I want to teach her what I do, so that once the party's over with, everyone gets together and has a celebration, then she can get back to work and at least make some money.
Party? What are you talking about?
Huh? It would right over your head.
Party?
Yeah.
What party?
Yeah, the John's gone party.
Oh.
Yeah. So
it's not a party for me when he's gone.
So that's kind of my thought process, because, the last thing I really want is here I am going to be gone. I have no way of communicating. She can't call me, and she just doesn't know, what to do in a certain situation.
Well, I won't be able to call him because he has no service, once again.
None. And
so I need everything to be in line.
Right.
Beforehand.
So, that's kind of the plan, but I cannot wait to watch that. She will be doing the live next Friday, guys. And unless someone like Tommy wants to jump on and co-host or something, she's going to be doing it solo. So that should be somewhat interesting. But we have Mark Sudick in the house. The Purple Fox, Picky Ricky is in the house. Wow, you guys had some pretty good conversations going on. Biscuit Butt, Jackie Bleckner, I know I saw Tommy in here. Jovial
PTS
Juggler,
treasures.
Sylvia Chamberlain, PTS Treasures, That Stranger, Rosie Games, Christina, Ferret Fan, Jim Harden, and quite a bit more. So let's get to some of your comments and questions. Picky Ricky says, I've listed 14 today and then sold 14 similar after dropping 14. Yeah, and it's just trying to keep, to me, I'm going to try to stay around the 300 item range on my main account. Of course, if I can get it up to 500, great, but I'm not really striving for a large store. But yeah, that's good. You're able to replenish what you sold. Purple Fox says, eBay, I've broken my account. Can't do anything until their IT team comes back to me with an update. Not holding my breath over Easter weekend.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know how busy this weekend's going to be honest with you, being that it's Easter weekend. People are going to be out and about with family and things like that. I know that sometimes people have slower holidays, but if you don't even have a store working, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that maybe it's not that big of a loss as compared to a regular weekend. They had a problem like that where it wasn't cataloging my items in the correct categories back in 2020 of September, and their IT team got a hold of it. Apparently it took them 2 days, and then everything's back to normal. Check your traffic. I think that has a lot to do with it as well. You'll know when you're back, when your traffic starts coming back. Picky Ricky hasn't sold anything for 20 hours either. Last sale was about 22 hours ago.
Oh.
Okay, but I thought you just sold 14. Okay, I'm confused. Purple Fox says there's been some sort of snowballing glitch since January, but never believed me till I ended everything to sell similar. Now nothing shows in shop, nothing shows for me to add or promoted campaigns.
Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue. And that's a situation where I would be just the squeaky wheel calling in, because, you don't, a lot of people say don't waste your time. There's be other things you can do with your business, but when your business is in limbo like that, your items aren't even up for sale. I'm on the phone until, someone tells me, hey, here's what we did, not what we're going to do, but here's what we did. And this is what you're going to see here pretty soon. Let's see, get to some of the sidebars out of here. We got Jovial Jugglers in the house. PTS Treasure says, hi, hello, everyone. Sylvia Chamberlain, hello. Rosie says, hi, John and Jenna. Hi, everyone. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Christina says, happy Friday, everyone. Keep listening. Yes, keep listening. And I have probably, if I'm looking here, because I know what I'm getting before I get it. So what I'm saying before I pick it up. So I probably have like a dozen drafts in here.
What is that?
What? Yeah, I buy all kinds of weird stuff. I just sold a starting block for a track and field event. So like when they're getting, on your mark, get set, the thing you put your feet in, you shipped it.
No, I'm not surprised at that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at that.
What? An adult airway management trainer, intubation mannequin?
Lab oral intubation mannequin study teaching model.
Yeah. It's like a little torso.
It looks
like a blow-up doll, kind of, because of the mouth.
Disturbing.
And it has like these little inserts that you put in the mouth. And would you be surprised if I told you I probably spent $7 for it?
$7.
And those things go for $200 to $300 for the whole kit. It has a carry case and everything. And yeah, you know what? I ain't trying to sell. I mean, look, to me, it's my motto I had before. I just expanded the size of the items that I'm selling. I don't care what it is. As long as it's legal and there's a market for it, I'm going to sell it. And yeah, that's going to be one of the items that I list this weekend. So if anyone's in the market for an intubation torso, come on over.
It's
make
so
me an offer.
Disturbing looking.
Maybe we'll prop that head up here with you when you do the live stream on Friday. Yeah, that'll be pretty funny. Jim Harden says, hi, John and Jenna. Happy Easter weekend, everyone. We trade John, hit the like button for a 24-hour sale to be named later. Yes, I agree. Right.
I really, I need to, because I have gotten no sales today on Hot Desert.
Flippin' Con Marco says, hey, everyone. Happy Friday. Hey, John and Jenna. How are you doing? Jackie says, question, I only seem to get sales if I send offers that eBay allows me to, no store. Any ways to send offers to others? Do views and watchers get notifications if I change the price higher or lower? So if you have a watcher that has decided that they want to watch your item, eBay will notify them when you've deducted the price or reduced the price by 5% or more. And as far as a store, I mean, I think it's worth it. I mean, if you go on the basic one, what is it, like $6.95? Simply for the option of being able to do markdown sales and coupons. Look, I know that a lot of you just do not want to give eBay any more money. I really don't either. But if that equals having more sales, it's like, would you spend an extra $50 a month in eBay fees for an extra $300 in revenue coming back to you? $400, $500? I think it's just a trade, just a logical trade-off to me. I don't think that anyone would pass over extra sales, but people do all the time. They want to hang out in the 2% promoted range, and that's where everyone else is. So you have to find a way to set yourself aside from everyone else, and whether that be, you know, your better titles, better listings, or better promoted rates. So store is what I'd recommend. Lawrence Trombley says maybe inconsistent sales is just common sense. Everybody's listing cannot be on the first couple pages all the time. eBay takes turns. One day it's yours, the next is not. And yeah, inconsistent sales is going to happen to everyone, though. I mean, you're going to have people that have a lot of their items on page one, and for whatever reason, they'll get the same number of page views in the traffic. They'll get the same number of actual impressions, but they'll wonder, well, why don't I get 2 sales a day? I had the same number of impressions and page views yesterday and had 10 sales. It just, you know, think about it. All those people that are looking, those page views, people are looking at your item, considering if they want to buy it or not. Something is compelling them to buy your item. Something's compelling them that day not to. And that's just the way it is. And I haven't met anyone who hasn't, you know, had that problem. Yeah, and this was a mistake of mine. One moment buys. I was in a kind of a panic mode going, where's the button? I guess we're not going to have a light today. It is what it is.
Combination between panic and anger.
Well, just looking through my mess here. I got a mess. That's part of the problem.
He is a messy person.
You know.
He's very messy.
It is what it is. It's part of doing business.
My job is not easy.
It's the part of doing business. That's what it is. Biscuit Butt says your internet servers must be inconsistent. Yes.
I don't know what's going on with them.
Honestly, it's just, how about looking at your sales in a different way?
I think Mark Sudick said earlier, or you'll get to it, but he said when we went down, or when our live went down last time, that the flipping ain't easy sign went out too. I don't know if he's pulling our chain. No,
it works, because I know it works. I did, but I've done 2 videos. Well, no, I haven't done 2 videos since last time. I haven't done any. It works. I know it does. It has to. If it doesn't work, then we're gonna have to get another one. But
oh no, we're not. That was a fiasco.
Well, this is that sign has to be on. It's just part of the deal.
And it's not cheap.
No, it's just the way it is. It is what it is. But let's see. We have Keena in the house. Hey guys, Noah Design, and then
you see
Archie. Please don't unplug John's AOL today. No, I got a new case for my computer. So probably this weekend, once I get done with my listings, I'm gonna pull out all the guts of my little case here and install it in the new one.
Why don't you wait till you get back to do that?
You know, I'm a little kid. I like it. Once I have a little toy, a little shiny new object, I like to play with it, you know. Biscuit Butt says, Tommy, he and I were stuck in the Russian women and mustaches chat room. Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Archie went to Beard Fest this last weekend, I think. He never told me how that turned out.
Beard Fest?
Yeah. He had some buddies in town that were doing like some beard competition or something. But, thought that was kind of interesting.
That was a thing.
Yeah, I was at one of the casinos, South Point, I think. Callie Deb says, hi, John and Jenna, everyone. Just saying hi. I have to leave the chat early. Okay, well, thank you for stopping by. And then I can't wait for Tommy to send the new AOL to me. That's great. They just came out with the new one here. Perfectly Blessed says, good evening, all. Thank you for being here. Andy is in the house. Amazon Seller 99. And then, yeah, as Tommy would say, lighting ain't easy. It's just ridiculous. Watch.
There's always something.
It's when I don't need something.
It's going to pop up as soon as we turn the live off. Yeah. Guaranteed.
Yeah. I guess I could disappear for about 20 seconds, a minute, maybe jump under the desk. It probably fell behind the desk, but it is what it is. Jovial Juggler says, check and see if it's clap light. Let's see. Hold on.
No.
Nope.
I didn't pay for that feature.
No. No one designs. I hope you got the potato ISP fixed. Let's see. Susan says, hello from Stacy, Minnesota. Stacy, Minnesota. You betcha. Leonard Kasakowski says, happy Easter from New Hampshire.
Happy Easter.
Let's see. Kino wants to know why items on eBay lose views. How does that happen? Well, you have a 30-day rolling window. Just think of it. So let's just say it's the first, right? And today somebody, viewed the heck out of your item. You have like a bunch of views, probably because it's a new listing. And let's say next month on the first, or let's say the second, so you waited an entire month. On the second, you had that item still for sale. Those views you got on the first of the previous month are now gone because it's a rolling 30-day window. Watchers never leave. So you could have a listing with 0 views and watchers for that reason. Also for hitting the heart button when they're looking at your store. Number of ways to get watches without actually looking into the listing itself. Let's see. That Stranger Keen, I think the views drop off after 30 days. Yep. JRKR 1964 makes no sense that sales would dip so dramatically, and it's organic. Servers are the issue. So we say that in jest. It may be, but until somebody says, look, this is how it works. Every person,
it's not somebody, it's until eBay says.
Well, somebody.
eBay will never tell you anything.
Well, there's somebody out there that has some knowledge of what's going on behind the scenes. I'm sure of it. And until I can actually see someplace that says, look, Nevada has its own server. California has 2 servers, right? Every state has dedicated servers, and, they take servers down for maintenance or whatever it is. I think that it could be organic, that just your buyers look at your views and your page views. If people are able to look at your page views and you're not getting sales, what does that say? That says your items are still up for sale and people can see them. So I think a lot of it has to do with your traffic. If your traffic's dead and your sales are dead, then there might be some internal thing going on. Like we were talking to, who was it that was just saying they have problems?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to go search for it, but just like the viewer who was watching, saying about the fact that they have no items showing at all. Now that's an issue. Is that tied to a server? I don't know, but that's why I think traffic is important.
Jackie?
No, it wasn't Jackie. It's okay. We'll move on. Amazon Seller says pre-COVID sales were very consistent on Amazon and eBay, within 10% of same day from the last week or Monday to Monday. Now sales can vary up to 50%. It's crazy. It is crazy. For whatever reason, I've been having good Thursdays, pretty crappy Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And I have no idea why. I mean, you think that maybe Fridays would be better, Sundays would be really good, and Sundays have been decent. But lately, if you kind of stack all the days of the week, I think Thursday is probably our best day.
Yeah, and it's always in the evening. Like all day, we can go all day with nothing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then all of a sudden, it's cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. It's like everybody got off work and got paid or something.
Yeah, I told Jenna last night that someone turned the spigot on and it's just flowing. Yard Sale Steals 300 says, I don't have sales daily, but I do get watches daily. Last 2 days, 0 watchers. It does make me wonder. Yeah, and a lot of it's what you're selling. If you have something that has high demand, you can expect more traffic and more watchers.
And if that continued, I would start to raise my eyebrow.
No One Designs says that refresh crap you call in is what people with common sense call the placebo effect. And I wonder, I know that there's an actual thing because I've talked to many people back in the day about, is that even a thing? And then, yeah, it's a thing. People call all the time, and we're we're now not doing it right for people unless there's an actual problem with the account. The way you do it simply is to go in and just bulk edit your listings if you want to kind of do a refresh. But I go even further. End items, sell similar is my little go-to thing. Gail says, I got my sales early, had 3 just before the live.
Yay.
Yeah. Hit it again. Hit the live button. I don't think you can hit the like button more than once when you're watching.
Because if you hit it again, it
turns it off. Don't take it away.
Don't take it away.
Because then your buyer will send you a cancellation.
Then you'll get a refund.
No, you'll get a cancellation request. Don't do that, guys. Hit the like button once. Mark says your flipping ain't easy sign went off on Monday when your internet went down. You could have a power supply problem.
That I wouldn't be surprised if that was the problem, because we have so many things running through this house. Okay. It has very little amounts of outlets.
You guys can see for yourself. You see the plug behind Jen and I. There's right 2 little USB plugs that are plugged in. Those are powering the blue lights, because the blue lights went out because I had them without, they have batteries. So at last show, I used no plug-in. And I just left them running all evening because I like the ambiance. I didn't even notice it. And what'll happen is, half an hour before the show, I'm like, oh crap, these lights are out of juice. So I'll plug them in. So the other plug that's plugged on the side of that unit is directly plugged into that light. So unless there's a problem with the plug itself, it's definitely not the outlet.
The plug?
You mean the outlet? It's plugged in, right? You see it right there.
I don't know that that's the plug.
That is the plug. Okay. I checked it before the actual show.
We have so much plugged into all these outlets. It's ridiculous.
We just plug in too many things. Yeah. Kim's in the house. Hi, John and Jenna and Flippin' Fam. Regina Rice says sales are slow to no go. Very discouraging overall. And then Tommy says Z. Amazon seller 99. Sales are slow except for Tommy. He's always killing it. Yeah, right? But you know what? I tell you guys all the time, take a look at other people's stores. I have about a dozen different stores that I watch. Tommy's store is one of them. I go and check his store out once in a while, and he does good. He does good.
If he has any shoes that I want.
I thought you were going to end the sentence right there. Yeah, he has shoes.
Shoes that I want. I was looking for some new shoes.
Let's see here. Eddie says, selling a lot of auctions this weekend. Glad to get rid of last year's stock. And I hope you do well with the auctions. I just have this thing where I think what's happening, unless the item has demand, it's not going to do well in auction. And if it has demand, then why don't you just sell it for a fixed price? Maybe lower your prices or really jack up your promoted rates, which is kind of the same thing.
The last time we ran auctions, nothing sold.
Well, we had an auction that we told everyone about. We had a bunch of people that jumped on the store trying to help out, buying 99 cents here, 99 cents there. I just wonder if we didn't mention it, how well it would have went.
No, I think the last one, that was the time before. But the very last one, we were trying to move just junk that's been sitting around. Yeah. And it never sold. So,
people that have YouTube channels that put their store, here's my store information. They're like, hey, I've listed all these new things. I'm kind of torn on whether that should be a thing or not. I really don't know I don't know what you guys think, but I've never been one to do that because it just doesn't seem right to me to say, look, guys, come and support the channel. Go check out my store and buy some items from me. But there's a lot of YouTubers out there who do well because they have an audience that's buying from them. And not organically. And I'd like to think that I'm an eBayer that's getting organic sales and being able to report to you, honestly, here's what I'm doing just like you're doing without any outside influence that you don't have. And that's why I'm doing well. What were you going to say?
I lost my train of thought because you don't stop.
I only took 20 seconds.
I lose it real quick.
Okay. Jenna is going to cash out that fat life insurance. Well, wherever that fat life insurance, hopefully someone took out a couple policies for me because right now that ain't in the cards. Brian Switcher says, my wife says I fall down dead. She's having the biggest yard sale in the history of Missouri.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Says, don't worry, Jenna, Tommy, and the gang will take over the live if that happens. That'll be croaking ain't easy. You have to make a new sign. Diane Propson says, good evening. How you doing? Thanks for being here with us. Wickedberg says, come on, wicked big sales weekend. I really do hope for one. I just don't know what's going to happen this weekend with, Easter weekend going on. A lot of kids, our kids right now in spring break.
So it depends where you are. Like, my nieces and nephews are on spring break now, but our granddaughters are not until the end of the month.
I can't either, Archie, because that's going to be a fun ride home. When I actually do get reception, I'll be listening to that live stream on the way home. That'll be great. Mark says you should rent a sat phone when you go away so Jenna can reach you. You know, it's funny. This is like my 15th. Yeah. Well, this is like our 15th year going out there. And I probably should have done this. And I didn't think about it. But about when we had T-Mobile like 8 years ago. It's who we have now. We went to Verizon and then we went back to T-Mobile. I jump around. But the first time we had T-Mobile, I was able to get them to send me this device, and it plugs into the wall and it sits on the windowsill, and it's like a signal booster. And I was able to get reception that way, but there's not enough time now to get it. So it is what it is. Jake Tim says, 8 months in selling on eBay, just had my most profitable week yet and seems to have slowed way down again since the bigger sales. I've got 310 items up as of now. No sale today at all yet.
Well, the day's not over.
Makes you wonder.
It does make you question.
It makes you wonder if eBay is just trying to give you the kind of like, tempt you into continuing. But let's feed them a little bit. And then they kind of just shut it off. And now it's on you to, get your promoted rates up and stuff like that to get the sales. But honestly, a lot of it depends on what you're selling. 310 items, I'm making on average about $400 to $500 a day in sales. That's 7 days a week if you average everything out. So it just depends on what you're selling. If you're selling like small $5 and $10 items, then you're going to have less success. As far as numbers are not necessarily sales, but the actual, and I don't care about sales. If I get one sale that makes the same thing as 10 sales, that's the same thing to me. It's about what you make that counts. Saw another channel who was, they had a little video today talking about how they don't think ASP is as important as it is, or YouTubers like myself make it out to seem, but it is, to me, it's made a world of difference. I removed like 95% of the crap items out of my main store and put it on my secondary store. And now my secondary store is like a clearance aisle store. I'm making like $75 in sales a day, which is not anything. But my other store, my main store, it's slimmed down. I have got better items in there. My ASP is much better. My overall sales numbers are just night and day different. And so I disagree with the idea that, ASP isn't probably one of the most important things. Now, look, if you have 40,000 items, 50,000 items in your store, you've got the place to put it. You have the time to ship all those items out, and you're selling $5 and $10 items, and that's your business model, then, hey, I'm not going to dog it. There's way too many ways to skin a cat. But what I found that works for me, I'm not interested, as you guys know, in opening a museum / eBay store. I want to move as many items as I can, as quickly as I can. I'm buying in for low, selling for high. When I get an offer that seems ridiculous, like the other day, I got an offer that someone sent me that I think I was into the item for $5. I had it listed for 100. They came at me for 40. I said, well, I could still make 9x my money, 8x after fees. And yeah, it's a low ball offer that, but guess what? I can quickly make that sale and move on. And that's kind of what my business model is right now. And it's really working well. Kelly Gar 34740's in the house. Thanks for being here. Callie Deb says my sales are way down. I've been seeing system errors as well. I've made screenshots and sent them into eBay so that they could see them. But I'm wondering how many of those reps or whoever's getting those messages are just hitting the delete button. I don't know if they really care. They probably know there's errors and problems within the system internally, and it's just, you're probably not the first person that's contacted them to say, hey, there's an issue. Not to say you should never report problems, and I'm not saying that at all, but the expectations really should be on the low side, and the only thing you really can do is just get more determined.
I guess there's always hope.
Get more determined. Start. A lot of times we see slow sales, and that kills our momentum. That kills our motivation. And to me, it's like the opposite thing. I'm like, okay, like the other night, I came in. This is Tuesday night, and had $100 in sales. I said, well, Jenna, looks like I'm going to be up till midnight tonight, because I'm going to be just going in here and just busting butt and getting some more listings done. And that's what I did. And well, it wasn't quite midnight. It was like 11:30. And I didn't mind doing it. I don't mind working and busting my butt. It's actually something I look forward to. I don't want to call it a hobby because it's my business, but I do enjoy what I do. And I think that's half the battle. If you don't enjoy what you do, then you're not going to be as successful, I think. Just like Tommy, he loves his shoes. I think he really loves his shoes
too.
I like his shoes.
That kind of money.
But I like his shoes. I
want to see his store.
Well, I will let him put that out there. I'm not going to do that.
No, you know it. You can tell me off air.
So some other day. Let's see here. We've got sidebar conversation, so I'll try to avoid that. Ferret Fan says, click the like, and I just sold a Coach lot of match purse and wallets for $252, and they paid.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Now that's the kind of sale you like.
Dawn of Karaoke says, hi from Kentucky. Thanks for being here with us today. Semperfi says, stuff I think will be a quick sale never goes quick, and things that I think will take a while sometimes will sell fast. Yeah, it's just really weird. I mean, if you look at my solds, you'll be like, what the heck is that? And a lot of times when I'm buying stuff, it's like, who needs to buy a track and field starting block? I mean, anyone here interested in, racing somebody, I guess? I thought that was provided when you're in track and field, but apparently you have to buy your own, or maybe you just want to practice and have one. But I bought it thinking, well, initially, before I bought it, I was doing research on it thinking this can't have a whole lot of interest. And it had a lot of like 4 or 5 comps in the last month. So for a very small buy, I think I picked it up for like $5. And I think I sold it for like 90. Hey, I'm happy. And it sold within about a week. No Design says, Jenna, don't worry. John did quality control on the blow up doll, the buyer satisfaction. I don't know if maybe I can show you guys. God. Maybe I can try to show you guys. I don't know if it'll work or not, but
just make this screen.
No, it won't work because it's on a different profile.
Oh.
I got it all worked out on my double screen action here. But okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to tell me what you think of this item. And you tell me if it's freaky or not, because Jenna's like all freaked out. Boy, it does look kind of freaky.
I'm telling you, okay. That is terrible.
So we'll do a little screen share. Okay, here we go. What do you guys think? Does that look freaky or what?
That's horrid. Okay.
But that is a real thing. People are learning how to, what is it? The incubation, or they put the ventilator down your throat. Is that what it's for? Or no, that's not what it is. It's when they're trying to CPR or something. I don't know, guys, but I know that those things sell. So it's not a blow up doll, though, even though I know that some people think it might look like one. It's not. Jim says, had a customer send an item back, said was too small, didn't even follow eBay's protocol of printing out a return label. eBay says he's not eligible for a refund. Is that true? Would you refund him anyway? If the item came back to me and it was in the same condition, and I would refund him less the initial cost of the return ship or the outbound shipping. They must have done something, either paid for the return label on their own or just did a return to sender. In that situation, I like to be able to sleep well at night. I mean, eBay will probably tell you you don't have to, and you probably don't because they didn't follow the process. Some people won't, some people will. I tend to say that, I believe in that karma where, you kind of do something that's not really right. It's going to come back and bite you in the butt. Jovial Juggler says, "Oh Lord, where do we go? What is inserted in the mouth?"
Oh, just wait. They're getting back.
As a nurse, I could tell you those mannequins are scary looking, but resell for big bucks. Yes. Designs is National Blow Up Doll Day.
It gets even worse.
Sweating day-to-day sales and the burden of everything seller. Well, you know what? I wasn't really sweating it. It was just more of just like, wow, you just see like, okay, here comes Tuesday. This is our slow day, and it just seems to happen. But it's not a sweat. I mean, now I guess maybe I'm the exception to the rule. Maybe there are a lot of everything sellers that are sweating, but I can show you a lot of everything sellers that are killing me out there, and a bad Tuesday ain't no big deal. If you're making 40 to 50% margins, I'm happy with the sales I'm at. Talking what 2,600 the last 7 days. That's now you guys, that's sales. So that's probably roughly half, half after fees and shipping and all that stuff, cost of goods. Callie Deb says, all of my sales have been international and half of them haven't paid. And I've shut off a lot of the international sales. So we haven't had that mess to deal with. Says, can you admit eBay is dead? I can't, because if you asked me that question back in January, I'd be like, well, considering I had a slow December, considering that January is just as bad, guys, I'm getting really worried about eBay. But I think that it boils down to what you're selling. I mean, I'm still making sales. There's a handful. I'm sure Ping is making sales. No One Design is making sales. Tommy's making sales. And it's all about what you're selling and the amount of time you're putting into your store. I really think momentum is key, but also the biggest thing is sourcing. That's where you win and lose of this game. If you buy what's comfortable, if you buy what, okay, I'll buy this for $2 and I'll be happy to make 10. Well, you got to do that on a large scale to make any kind of headway. And I think if you're in that boat where you're feeling like eBay is dead, you need to take a really strong look at what you're selling and reconsider maybe buying high, and I say it again, higher ASP items, because higher ASP items tend to have more demand. Why? Because if I have an item that, let's say, sells for $100, let's say I'm into it for 10, and I have it listed for 100. Well, someone could come to me for 30, and I could think of that as a low ball offer. But guess what? I'm only into it for 10. I'm happy to move on, from the item for $30, and reinvest that money into another item and just generate sales that way. But if you're into that same item for $30 and you're selling it for 100, well, you're not going to accept that low ball offer when it comes through. So a lot of it is, and you don't have to necessarily sell shoes. You don't have to sell in a niche. You can sell everything, but you just got to sell the right things, and you got to be into that for a good price. Those are the two keys: the right thing. I think high ASP is always going to be better, and get a good deal on that stuff that you're buying, which I think maybe if you're able to try to buy in bulk, because you're going to get better deals that way. Wanda says, howdy from cold and rainy North Carolina. Midwest Picker says, eBay dead. And I hope you don't feel that way. I really think there's still stuff being sold. Midwest Picker says, my vintage clothing is dead anyway. But, it's just like.
Yeah, that's why it's so hard to stay in one niche for us anyway.
Well, we just don't have the constant supply. I mean, it's a supply thing.
And plus clothing. I mean, I know it's vintage and all, but how many, vintage T-shirts could you possibly sell in a month?
You might. I mean, we have a handful up, and we sell shirts every once in a while. Keena says cold and rainy in Virginia.
Really?
Yeah. No One Design says, I love slow day on eBay, vice versa, because the law of average. Yeah, it may be slow for you, but it may not be for someone else. And so I guess the puzzle here to try to figure out is how to change that? How do you become someone else? Well, the number one way to become someone else, and I'm not saying for you to, be like these YouTubers and, change who you are, because our circumstances are always different. But the number one way to do something else is to do something else. So if you keep selling the same thing and you get the same, or now you're getting worse results than you did, say, 6 months ago, then you can either, ride out the storm, understanding that you may still have bad results, or you can step in front of it. Maybe say, I'm going to keep these items listed, but let's add some really good stuff. Next time I go buying at the yard sale, I'm going to skip these kind of items because I have all these items, that aren't selling, and try to gravitate towards something maybe I can see in the comps that are selling, and you'll see a big difference. That's what I did, guys. If you'd have told me 6 months ago that I'd be selling a mannequin head or a intubation head, I probably would have told you, well, where the hell am I going to find that at? There's not too many people having yard sales that are going to have that kind of thing. But you just got to keep your eyes open and be willing to say, okay, I'll see what happens here. The comps are going to be what leads you to that proper item to sell. And I think sometimes we just want to stay comfortable. So until you're willing to get uncomfortable, it's going to continue being that way for most people who are having problems with sales. And you're talking to somebody who actually was in that boat a few months ago. Midwest Picker says, smash the likes, peeps. Yes, please do that. I'd certainly appreciate that. No One Design says, cleaning John ain't easy. Well, you know what? I'm not a slob by any means. It's not like I've got breakfast on the desk or anything. No. It isn't that bad. It's just that, I might have a stack of mail here, or, I might have, we had to move a bunch of LPs I was working on before the show. And actually, that's something I actually kind of enjoy.
He has papers.
Yeah, but that's kind of like mail. And some of these papers are, before running out to the different places to drop off the packages, I've got still label stuff. Like, you get the label, you run the label, and you just scrunch up the paper and just throw it on the desk. That's kind of, and then after the fact, you kind of clean it up. So I will be cleaning this mess up, and I might even redo this room. So you might see everything kind of laid out differently here in the future. Eric's messy too.
I tried doing that when you left last time, and that didn't work out so well because I can't move this part around because he's got his monitors hooked up to the desk and cords everywhere. Yeah, you can have fun doing that.
So Midwest Picker says, I think I'm going to start diving depending into the analytics on eBay. It's always, I'm one that will look at traffic. Some people will say, traffic schmaffic. But I mean, if you're doing well, traffic schmaffic. Look, if you're doing well on eBay, why would you bother spending time researching other stores? Why would you bother spending time looking at your traffic? These are two things I think you should do if you are having slow sales. So, for instance, if you are, say, a certain type of clothing seller, vintage clothing, well, look and hopefully you know who your competition is. Maybe you just haven't even bothered to look, but it's a good idea to get in there, start searching for the same items that are in your store that you think should have sold by now, and search for those items. Take a look at the stores of the people who have sold those items, because there should be some sold comps on those, and see what they're doing differently than you. Maybe it's their price. Maybe it's their policies in regards to returns, or maybe they're offering free shipping. Maybe they have better photos than you. There's so many different things that they could be doing differently, which could be the difference between your item selling and their item selling. So then you could figure out, well, it's not just me. Everyone else seems to be slow. And now you have a decision to make. Check out your traffic. Is your traffic down from what it used to be? eBay has all that information, but at the end of the day, you got to be willing to move on from what you're selling if it's not working. And that's the key for me, and I'm convinced it's the key for most people. Jimmy D says, need to list and ship some golf clubs. What, how, where do you get boxes? So here's my advice, Jimmy. This is what I did. I called up my local sporting goods store. It actually was the PGA Superstore. I'm not saying that you're probably going to have one in your area, but you could have a Big Five Sporting Goods. You could have a Dick's Sporting Goods and say, hey, look, I need to see if you guys have any extra golf club boxes, because there's a couple things that you need to know. When someone goes in and buys a golf club at Dick's or PGA store, they'll go and buy it, right? And the PGA store will go and give them the club. Sometimes, most times, they'll give them the head cover, which is the little cover you put over the golf club. And the person's happy. They buy it and they just leave. Well, what they've left behind is the original box that it came in. And the stores just kind of hang on to those and throw them away. Or if they have some, they'll be glad to give them to you. But yeah, we ended up getting 4 boxes that way. And
there's your sale.
I got my sale. I sold, what did I sell? A pair of shoes, safeties, women's safety shoes. Oh. Not Tommy-like shoes, but work shoes. So that's the best place to go. Now, I can tell you, if you can talk to a manager at one of those golf shops, a lot of times people will buy a club and forget to ask for the head cover. So they have piles and piles of head covers. Go in and say, look, do you have any extra head covers I can buy off of you? Like $2 a piece. I know you just sitting on a lot of them in the back room, and this will allow you to clean your back room. I'll come back in a week if you need time to do that. And I've actually had Dick's Sporting Goods do that, I think, at 5 different stores. Now, this is back in 2019, but I would leave there with like big bags full of head covers, brand new, and I'd go and sell them for $15 to $20 a piece, and all day long on those things. So that's the best place to start. Victor says, hey, from Wisconsin. How you doing, Victor?
Wisconsin.
TikTok says, could you get some tube lighting and attach behind the sign? The sign does not work.
If we have to.
No. We're buying a new sign that thing doesn't work. But let's just say it should work. That thing's been a trooper. So
yeah, you know what he's going to be doing when we get off this live.
Oh yeah. I'm going to be tearing this room apart looking for that remote. Because for me, little things like that bother me, and I just can't not remember. That's the next thing I'm going to do after this is done. Biscuit says, John said if he can get 100 likes, he will sing a Keith Sweat song. Oh wow! Oh. And Keith Sweat wasn't even my favorite.
Now that he has his voice back.
Oh yeah! Don't get me started. How many likes we have? We have 143.
No. That's watching.
Oh,
you have to go out of it, go back in it.
How many likes we have, guys?
Wait till the things are over.
That's horrible. She's not even going to tell me. Anyway, let's move on.
64.
Oh, that's 84. Horrible. 84. Well, I ain't singing, guys. So get it to 100 anyway, but I ain't singing. And I'm sure that you'll give me extra likes for not singing. That's probably.
Yes.
Biff says eBay has about 4 known server farms throughout the country. They're like top secret, though. It's like nobody talks about them. There's never any articles on the internet about them. It's just like a thing that, it's like Bigfoot.
You to go and
I'm sure we've got ex-eBay employees that could have talked about them by now. Someone who has knowledge, direct knowledge. LSGS Rob says this issue must only affect a handful of people. I've never had issues, and sales have been consistent for the past 2 years. Well, it's that's the thing that's happening to a handful of people, because I believe that they're selling. Some of these people just have maybe items that just aren't as in demand anymore. That's just kind of what I'm thinking, because I know that's what happened to me.
And I think Rob's, the way that the perception I have of Rob is that he basically has got his shit together, and his store is.
If it flips, it ships 101. The powers to be want suffering at this time. It's all in the algorithm. They're praying for more unemployment. Well, I don't know. I don't even begin to understand or know what's going on in this world. All I know is this. Look, what is in my control? I can't control what any politician does. I can't control what eBay does. I can only control, is this selling or not? And if this isn't selling, that means that you got 2 choices, really. Keep doing what you're doing. Maybe things will change, or it's time to make a real change. You got to really sit down and look at what you're doing. Start a second store. keep doing what you're doing on the first store and introduce things you never thought you'd sell before that are selling, that have sold comps, that aren't going to cost you a lot. You're going to have a lot of room to work with because maybe they're off the wall mannequin face incubators. And
those bring in money.
Yeah. And I mean, buying a dog toy, I bought this dog toy that I bought it for $40. Seems like quite a bit. But when you look at it, the sold comps and the actual comps on Amazon are like $500, $400 to $500. And so, okay, so if someone really wants this toy, but they don't want to spend $500, they're going to come to me, and maybe I'll have it for $200 to $300. And if they come to me and say, they'll offer me $200, I'll probably take it. And even though that seems like a lowball offer based on what the market says, I have room to play with to make money that way. So find things that maybe you're not comfortable with. I don't know anything about this, but all you got to do is do a Google search, learn a little bit. After you sell a couple of them, you know what you're dealing with. Let's see. TikTok says many companies do pay on Thursdays, which might be the reason why we're getting a lot of sales. Yeah. Interesting. Diane says, I got 2 Poshmark sales since this started. Going to the like button to see if I'll help me on some eBay sales. Yeah. You never know. Why not? It doesn't cost you anything. Nostalgic Pod Blast says, happy Good Friday, y'all. That's interesting. And the Nostalgic Pod Blast must be a podcast channel. Biscuit Butt says, plugging ain't easy. And Nostalgic Pod Blast says, anyone selling collectibles in here? I believe we have a number of people who do.
A few people that sell collectibles.
We have a wide variety of eBay sellers and some that aren't even selling on eBay. I think, who isn't here? Prosser. He was saying that he's not selling on eBay anymore. So hopefully he comes back.
I haven't seen him, and I have not seen Tyler either in quite a few lives.
So we lost 2 of our mods.
Well, Ed's not here either.
Wow. Just hopefully
Archie and Ricky are the only ones.
The Tommy Bernard podcast says, what are you looking for, Jenna? I'm picking up a load today. Shoes. She wears size 8.
I like a lot of different things, but I'm just looking for some clean white leather.
Don't say the P word at all. If you say the word Prada, I'm going to freak out. Okay.
Clean white leather tennis shoes because I have Converse and Nikes, but they're cloth and they get dirty very, 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 very fast.
So no one designs that selling stuff online does not guarantee you consistent sales. Not a single reseller online or offline deserves consistent sales, equality of outcome, but we all have is the potential of daily sales. Yes. See, all you're buying from eBay when you pay your eBay fees is traffic. Okay. eBay says that they have traffic, whereas other sites don't. That's what appeals most sellers to eBay, even though eBay they have their issues. Okay. Why people still remain on the platform, because of that promise that that there's traffic. Now, what you do with that traffic is up to you. If you decide to say, I'm going to spend my time listing remote controls, okay, that go for $10, and wait for that unicorn buyer who might have lost his remote for his light.
We have this one remote control that looks like it's like really old, but we have 10 of them, 15 of them, that gold, and we've sold one.
Oh yeah. That's not a remote. That's not a remote. I bought a bulk buy at a yard sale, and it's it's AC units that have like a remote control.
Reminds me of someone else.
Yeah, but nonetheless, if that's what you're doing, and you're like, I love remote controls, I just love the way whatever, right? And that's what you're stuck on. Well, chances are you're going to have, depending on what you're selling, you're going to have good and bad months or bad months. But if you take that traffic and say, you know what, I'm going to find some really good stuff, and I'm not going to settle because I feel like, I've gone to 3 yard sales and I haven't bought anything. So I'm going to buy something guaranteed at this yard sale, and you settle on something. Well, if you start settling on stuff that doesn't sell, well, you're not going to get great results. So, selling online does not guarantee you consistent sales, but it gives you an opportunity to have your own storefront. to do that. Nostalgic Pod Blast says, that's all I sell are collectible comic books, reel-to-reel 16mm films and toys, all collectibles. There's a market for that. There's a market for that. I'm just wondering, I don't think the economy's yet any better. I still see reports about stuff, but I'm not going to allow that to be the reason that I'm going to fail. It's going to be because I'm out of places to buy the stuff that I'm buying. I mean, that's at the end of the day, not everyone has the same opportunity. I tell you this, if everyone had the same opportunity that Tommy has in buying shoes, he wouldn't be able to buy those shoes anymore, which is why we don't share our sources, and neither should you. That should be what you keep to yourself. LSGS Rob says, there's no issue with sharing your store. You're losing out by not. Your viewers will not be mad. Yeah, I just don't want to be in the same mold as other channels that it feels like when you watch their channel, it's just about how can I benefit from you watching my show? Because to me, this channel has always been about how to help others. And selfishly, I guess I can say I can learn from you guys too. I've learned so many things. Wouldn't even be doing the yard sale game if it wasn't for the encouragement of a lot of people watching this channel. So for me, there's a fine line. And so I do have sponsorships because this is a channel that does bring in some revenue. It's an extra revenue stream. So we have sponsors like American Bubble Boy. We have sponsors like Prime Lister. These are all things and products that I use that I think that a lot of people can benefit from. But I'm not going to come up on here and say, you know what, I ain't going to look at your store unless you give me $20. I mean, or $10 or whatever.
I was reading on a Reddit post the other night when we were trying to figure out where that video had gone. And there were so many people in this particular like chat or whatever. I don't know. I don't usually go on Reddit, but something brought me there to see something. And they were talking about why don't YouTubers tell us their store names? Why don't they? I'm like, well, I know a lot of people who do. So, I mean, I didn't say that or I didn't respond or anything, but I just thought it was odd. Why? I mean, we don't have anything to hide, nor do we. I mean, you could buy from us or not. We don't, it doesn't make a difference. But well, of course, we appreciate it like more than anything. However, I don't think, keeping it private or even, I don't think there's a bad thing whether you do or you don't.
Well, I mean, I think it's actually, if I was a buyer, I would probably want to buy from someone that has exposure on YouTube.
Yeah,
because
if you're wanting to support
them. Not only that, but the fact is, if I have a problem with this item, you're not going to just ghost me on YouTube. I'm going to be like, hey, dude, I bought this item from you. What's going on? I have another way of contacting you. Yeah,
but that would be crazy.
I know this. If I sold someone an item and I totally dogged that person and they're a viewer of this program, I'm willing to bet that they're going to get on here and say something, and of course that's not what we do, but I think it keeps you more accountable when you have an audience that does buy from you. You have to be a little bit more, careful, maybe add a couple extra layers of bubble wrap to make sure that it gets there without getting broken, that kind of thing.
Well, I always leave little notes. If you guys say when I'm shipping and I see a note that says, watch you guys, or love your show, or some people will put little notes in there when I'm doing shipping and I see it, and I have a little box of cards that I always write a little note.
Yeah. And Nostalgic says, I have noticed the bump in sales could be tax refund money buyers. I think that's something I've noticed over the last couple months, and it may go for another 2, 3, 4 weeks, just depending. I know that there's others like myself that have about 10 days now to get their taxes in. So it's something I got to finish up this weekend. That's for sure.
Last minute Johnny.
Every year.
Last minute Johnny.
Picky Ricky says, April has started with 3 or 4 days in a row at about 100 pounds, which is good for me, to be honest. That's about $150 US. Oh, the Nostalgic Podcast. This guy is a good host. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Hopefully I can get better. There's a lot of things that I do bad, and I can tell you, if you go back and watch some of the live streams, I was not as comfortable as I am now. I think you have a lot to do with it, like a lot of people say.
What do I?
Well, you kind of I feel more comfortable.
Loosen up.
Feel more comfortable. It also, it's the Mio.
You're comfortable with me.
It better be.
You know, after all these years.
Yeah. No Design says, I don't look if my sales are slow. My wife lets me know when she asks for my wallet. Honey, the card ain't working. You got to load this thing. Sammy Hall says, I've had one sale all week and I have 300 items and I'm okay with it. As I'm a hobby seller this week. It's the slowest I've seen since I've started. I'm okay with it. I still keep trying. So that's the difference. If you're a hobby seller, and I can't put part-time sellers into this, but if you're a hobby seller where, of course, you're trying to make some extra money, maybe fun money or whatever, or it's just something you enjoy doing, going to yard sales, buying, see if I could flip this $5 item into $100. It's not going to sting as bad when you have slow sales. But if you are a part-timer that's supplementing your full-time job, you're relying on this income. If you're a full-timer, you definitely are relying on this income. And, for me, it's more serious. If your sales are slow, you got to start figuring something out, whether that is to do a side gig, maybe Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats, whatever. See if that's something available to you in your area. Maybe list in the day, drive at night. I'd say go find a job, but honestly, I find that even on my slowest months, it's like the same as having a $15, $20 an hour job. With the differences on eBay, you basically can earn money every day. On your off days, the day you take off, you can still earn money. On your job, unless you have vacation time and sick time, you ain't getting paid if you're taking the day off. So, look, it comes down to this. I mean, for many of you guys, it's paying your bills or not, buying groceries or not, and that's the thing. And you gotta, I say this and I keep saying it, but you gotta be willing to try something new if what you're currently doing is hurting you. If you have tons of money in the bank, then just, let it be a hobby that you're selling and don't take as much stock into what you're selling and just continue what you're doing. But for most sellers out there, they rely on this as their income. It's time to make some changes. Well-spoken host, no profanity, intelligent talk. Well, thank you.
Except for me.
But you missed out on the
every once in a while.
You must have missed out on the little mannequin head that we were just talking about. But no, I try to keep it clean. Sometimes it gets off the rails, but it is what it is. Biscuit Bus says, wait till next week when Jenna does the show. Profanity every other word.
No, I don't. No. I know how to rein it in.
Roman says, I can tell you guys for sure, digging in the bins ain't easy at all. Well, your bins are easier than ours. I can tell you that.
Yeah. There's a lot more organized.
If it flips, it ships 101. I just lowered the price by 40%. I bet I still get no sales. You may not. I mean, if someone isn't looking to buy that item, or someone is, that's nice to have, but I really can't even afford that right now, then you may not. It just really depends. Where you, even after you change your price, if you lower it by 40%, if you're stuck on page 4, you're still going to have a hard time selling that. So you've got to figure out why, when I search for my item, I'm not on page 1 or higher up in the ranking. That's what you need to kind of think about. I was looking at a comment. I'm sorry if I passed up a comment, but I meant to read it. I was asking if I lower my price when I do sell similar, and I do every once in a while. In fact, I think I was doing a little bit too much, and I don't need to. So I've stopped doing that. So I'm not really changing anything. The only thing I'm doing right now, and I'm going to be doing going forward, is like I said, every week. Like yesterday, I didn't do it. Just was killing it in sales. I thought there's no need to do it. But what I usually do is, like, Thursday evening, I'll go in and I'll do a end item for most of my listings in my main store. Go in and clear out the actually, don't clear out the end items yet. Go and launch a sell similar on all those ended items, but I'll go in and add best offer to those. When I'm launching a new listing, I'm not including best offer. I want to see those sell organically without offers. But after a week, if they've been in my store, then it's time to add that option. And that's kind of what I'm doing. That's the change that I'm making when I'm selling similar. And I'm fine. Again, if I bought the item for $10, I have it for 100, they come at me for $50. Chances are it's going to sell. And I'm 100% looking at what I'm into the item for. I can care less what the market says. I'm not being greedy. Just trying to buy, get a fair price for my initial investment, and then moving on. Because I'm buying stuff every day, and I have the ability to go by and pick up my stuff every day, even on weekends.
That was yard sale steals 300. Thanks.
Okay.
That was my question.
Okay. Sorry about that. I know I passed it over. I meant to answer it, but I'm like, okay, I can go over here and waste your guys' time and look for the comment. I'll just remember to answer it. Let's see. Roman says eggs are expensive. I'll skip Easter this year. Dibs 307 says I have over 7,000 items, 5 sales today. So that ain't the best sell-through rate, right? But slow days like that are going to happen. So that's like a 1 in 1,000, 1 item per every 1,000 sell-through rate. I'm curious to know what your sell-through rate normally is, how many items you normally sell in a day. But to me, I have $311 in sales today. And as far as my traffic report, I'm willing to bet that my traffic seems like it's going to be on par with yesterday. But I have 7 sales today. I had 9 yesterday. And I've made quite a bit less in sales today as compared to yesterday.
We had some high ticket sales.
Yeah. And, I've got a lot of drafts. All I got to do is take pictures, add the weight, dimensions, and the location. And those listings are ready to go. No Design says, I don't, every look at my sales are slow. My wife lets me know. We already saw that. How did I get back up here?
Because you were scrolling again.
Okay. Thrift Gorilla says, I think they started implementing a new throttle system. If you open too many tabs in a short period of time, you'll get temporarily blocked for 3 to 5 minutes. That's weird because my store should be shut down by now.
Shut down then, because he has like 1,000 of them open always.
I should have Bob right now telling me, sorry, sir, because I have tabs like crazy. And the reason is because I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but there's a search thing that you can implement in Google. It's called context menu search, something that Bearded Picker showed me. And it's an extension for your Google browser that allows you to quickly like highlight a word or a title. And I can go in and search pretty much anywhere. I can search Amazon. I can search eBay solds. I can search Google. And I have so many open tabs from eBay because of that. So I don't know if that's a thing. Biscuit Butt says, Roman, last time I went to Goodwill Bins, I sold a game for $80 and didn't even pay for it. That's a true statement. And then he felt like maybe I shouldn't have done that. He kind of felt like he should have got the guy for more. But I'm wondering though, Archie, did that guy ever sell that game? I'm sure you know who it is. You look to see if you saw what his store was. I'm wondering if they actually got the $400 they were trying to get on eBay for it. Let's see what we have. Gravity Goods. Cameron says, me too, Tommy. Fresh shoes smell awesome. Fresh shoes do smell awesome, but the Goodwill Bins shoes don't smell so good. Gravity Goods says, I'll be happy to drop some F-bombs when I go live later tonight. Roman says, bins are very difficult to process, especially when everyone runs to it without knowing what they're looking for. Yeah, it's amazing. You ask people, what are you looking for? Maybe I can, if I find it, I can, put it aside for you. And they're like, I don't know. And it's like, wow, okay, well, then I won't. I've actually had that conversation a couple times with people, and it just amazes me that what are you there for? I mean, you're just going through the motions to say you're buying stuff to resell or what? Tommy says, when I get tired, a good lick of a few insoles recharges me like Tesla supercharger. It was kind of cool. We ended up getting this spray. I don't have it here on my desk. I think I have it with the shoe supplies. But we were at ASD, and they had like these samples that they're passing out. And this lady passed out this bag of like different sprays, and one was for shoes. So you could spray it in the shoes and it smells like, what did it smell like? Bananas or something? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think I smelled it.
Oh, I sprayed it to see what it smelled like. I don't like
to smell a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm not a sniffer.
Tommy says, Roman, we in the filthy shoe fetish community call them well loved. Yeah, there's some pretty gross shoes out there, though. You just gotta. Biscuit Butt says, nostalgic. If you want to hear a nice, wholesome live, he sings children's songs the entire time. Check out Anytime Picture. Yeah, he'll show you how to list 5 items in 4 hours. Roman did that on his last live, I think.
That's funny.
Daniel Lee Sage says, hi, guys, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My first YouTube live video and from my new favorite eBay broadcasters. Well, thank you.
Aw, thank you.
I've been to Baton Rouge.
Look at his profile piece, grilling it up on the grill.
Good old Baton Rouge. You know, I went in 2005. They had bowling nationals out at Baton Rouge, and me and a buddy went out there, and that was a true adventure. But I got to tell you, man, the folks that are in your neck of the woods out there, those people work hard, man. We went to a Popeyes and was out literally at a gas station, and it was like right across the street from like a bayou or swamp or something. It was really weird. And they're working their tail off, and I interrupted one of these guys. They're like running around like filling orders, and all I was asking them was for some butter for my biscuit, right? And he looked at me and said, no butter unless the corn on the cob. No lie. And he did. And I'm like, all right, man. I walked out without my butter. I wasn't going to ask anymore. I was going to interrupt him again. That guy was dead serious. But yeah, Baton Rouge, man, that is a cool place. I like that part of the. I love that cuisine. I love the Cajun cuisine.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Flippin' Con Marco. I think I remember using one of those dolls when I was in high school when they were teaching us CPR. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little different though. I don't think if you push on the chest, anything's going to happen.
It looks way different. I think it's more. I don't even know. I'd like to read the description on it because that's not what a typical CPR mannequin looks like. I know when I took CPR.
Tommy says, can't believe Tracy's in here after John showed Lockjaw Lonnie. Lockjaw Lonnie. That's not right. Thrift Gorilla says, I was getting good sales there all at once last month. Now it's kind of trickled down, but still getting sales. Just have to keep listing. Yeah, you got to keep listing. I mean, to me, it's a numbers game. So look, if you're making, I'm like, okay, I'm half of my sales are down. I'm down by 50%. Well, then the numbers game tells me you need to really start adding a lot more items in your store if you're not going to change what you're selling. Just bottom line, EGV vintage collectibles. I have 360 items listed between clothes, home decor, and jewelry. 40% of my store have 0 views. I've changed titles, etc. Still no views. Check on comps and same items and same title sells well. Okay, so on those listings, you're looking at the comps. What's different between those listings and the ones you have? There's got to be something different. Now, what you may not see in the background is you could be dwelling with the 2%ers as far as the amount that you're promoting, and maybe those people are using a higher percentage. Maybe they're willing to do 10. Maybe their cost of goods allows them to go as high as 10%, or maybe sometimes even more, depending on the category. Amazon says Mondays used to be our best day, probably because people are bored when they have to go back to work. Now there's no consistency or no consistent best days anymore. There's really not. I mean, you can't say, okay, it's Thursday, we're going to kill it. I mean, then you might be disappointed. So I'm looking, I get up every day and I'm looking at how can I get some sales. I had one lady, I sold a dog wheelchair. Yeah, I sold a dog wheelchair. We sell a lot of those. And she wanted me to, even though I have the dimensions of like, this is what your dog needs to be to fit in this thing. She's like, will my dog fit? Well, I don't know how big your dog is. You tell me it's a boxer. I don't know. And so she sends me measurements. All the while I'm like, it's in the listing. So of course I said to myself, okay, I could be lazy about it and tell her, just look at the listing. If it fits your dog, then hey, it's there. Or I took her measurements and I said, well, no, that's not the right one. I do have one I'm about to list though. and it'll fit your dog perfectly. And I was willing to go through that. And she went back and forth with me. And guess what happened? I got the $100 sale. So it just depends on what you're willing to put into it. Most people aren't willing to put up with customers like that. But to me, if I'm able to get a lead and someone that seems to be serious about buying something, I'll take that extra time.
And that's, you have to kind of change your way of thinking. People aren't sending messages just to annoy you. Yes, there are some out there that are just dumb as rocks, but there are some where you can get a sale from it. You can, the engagement you have with your customers or potential customers is crucial sometimes, and it could make or break a sale.
No Design says, why does that thing have its mouth open already? I think John forgot to close it. And then Archie came in and said, no one, don't talk about you like that.
I already texted him.
Oh, Archie, I would pray for you, bud. That's so bad.
I already texted him, and no, he's not blocked.
Brian is Jenna is doing the show next week, and maybe I'll have
next Friday.
Yeah, a week from today. And
we got to do my.
If she doesn't get a co-host on here, then we're gonna have to prop up that what do we call it, a mannequin? I get a mannequin with a K for some reason. I don't know why they spell it that way, but yeah.
Mannequin.
Yeah.
No, I am not.
Just prop it right here and just put a hat on it.
I am not. That thing is disturbing.
Just put a hat on it.
No. Put a face mask over it. That's more what I'm talking about.
That's funny. Thomas says, if your sales are slow, look at the last 20 you listed, the next 20 you are about to list. Check sell through on every single of them. That's the future of your store. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, look, I think most of us, and myself included, I'm selling mannequin heads, okay, intubation heads. I actually this is one of the weirdest things that I almost bought.
You can't close its mouth.
Okay, we'll get to that comment here in a minute.
I
okay,
know,
but I bought, and I showed Archie this. Actually, I was going to buy a bat for cricket. A brand new sealed bat for cricket. Amazon had it for $200. I was into it like for 10, and I saw a bunch of comps on there, sold comps. But what was weird is they're going for like $200, but they're all being sold in the UK, which makes sense. I didn't notice that when I was looking at the comps. Now I went in and canceled that. I didn't buy the item, but I just thought it was, pretty cool that, I'm selling things. I have no clue. I don't know how to dang cricket bat works. I don't play the game, and I don't know who in the United States would, which is why I said, look, I turned off all my international sales. So why would I buy something that's going to be an international sale? Otherwise, I'm just going to be sitting on it.
Do people play
I don't know.
Out here?
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think people play that in the United States.
We may not just know.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll have to look that up. If it flips, it ships. Anyone into Bitcoin, we might be getting a bounce right now. I'm very sour on Bitcoin because I had an opportunity back in 2011 to buy it like really dirt cheap. I'm talking about like $10 a coin when it was like nothing. And I said, no, that seems scammy to me. So I just didn't. I passed on it, and I've never been able to bring myself to buy it. Nostalgic Pod Blast says, it's cool here in Atlanta. Braves country, no rain, go Braves. They are doing pretty well. They're off to a pretty good start. Follow baseball. Greg D says, sometimes I'll win an auction item, but the seller probably lost money selling at that price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that we get, I just wonder how they make any money.
Well, you'll see items that you're looking at and go, wow, how do they sell that for $10 free shipping? Okay, it must be like $15 to $20 a ship, but okay. There's people who will go onto eBay, and that's how they source. They will buy these cheap auction items that get no traction. They'll buy them, they'll have them shipped to them, so they're into the item for, let's say, 99 cents plus shipping, and okay, fine, because I can turn around and sell that for 30 or 40 if I'm patient, and that's how they do it. No One Design says, text John the word RGB. Wait, don't. This is ISP will turn off. Never mind. Hey, it's been pretty good so far, but I guess last week, that's when
it was right around this time.
Yeah. Let's see. No One Design says, that was the same look when she caught John with that blow-up doll. Okay. Wanda Greer says, how does the international exchange rate work? So let's say I have the item for $100, but it's like whatever the going rate is, someone from UK buys my item, they'll do when they're telling, let's say No One Design, no, he's not from the UK. I was going to say like Prosser or Picky Ricky. Let's say Picky Ricky buys my item. It won't show up as $100 to him. It'll show up like 80 or 90, depending on what every day that rate changes, like on a daily basis. So I believe that's how it works. Dan says, you don't
design is not,
you want sales list. He's from like the East Coast or something like that. Dan says, you want sales, list new items 7 days a week, answer eBay messages immediately, and print labels as soon as sales happen. Also list new items right after a sale occurs. It's a quantity game now. So I agree with most of what you said there. Now, the only reason I think maybe you print labels as soon as they happen, I mean, that means you're going to have to stop what you're doing and go in and, run the labels and play that game. The only reason why you do that is if someone comes at you with a cancellation, you can say, "Oops, sorry, we already shipped it," right? But we make sure that that's the first thing we do in the morning. Sometimes, like on Sunday nights, we'll have all the Fridays, Saturdays, and Sunday items that have sold. We'll get in there and knock most of it out so that Monday we're not just killing ourselves.
Yeah, I have to start now that we sell more, or I don't want to say more, but they're larger items. And so it takes me longer. It's more exhausting for me because I'm lifting and pushing and it's a whole thing. So I have to start on Sundays.
So Betso Kick says, I'm having an issue with the buyer who didn't read the description and is trying to shake me down for $50. It's come to the point where they're threatening. Is there a way to report them? If they've threatened you on the eBay Messenger, I mean, I guess that would be the only way they can do it, and report that to eBay. Maybe it's something you're going to need to call and say, I need to speak to a supervisor, maybe deal with trust and safety. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I actually have gotten a couple people kicked off, but I didn't get that far until I spoke to a supervisor. Ultimately, it's like this. If you have an issue with the item, return it. Okay. And just have them open a return, because it does a couple of things. Yeah, you don't get the sale. It kind of sucks, but you're not shaken down for $50. Okay. I don't know how much you sold the item for, but you're not shaken down for anything. They send the item back. It comes back in the same condition. Then you can refund with or without the original shipping, depending on if you made the mistake or if it's just them being picky, and saying that, well, this was described, but how you described it, if it's correct or not. But it also eliminates the negative feedback by you accepting and processing a return. And they're probably at this point going to leave you negative feedback. It's a way to deal with that. But the bottom line is, a lot of times these people are shakedown artists that do this, that send these kind of messages. They know what they're doing because it's worked before. Sellers have caved in before. So don't cave in, stand your ground, and just say, look, please return the item. I would be glad to give you a refund, provided that you send everything back in the same condition that it was sent to you with. And don't stoop to their level. Let them be nasty. Don't be nasty, because at the end of the day, eBay is going to side with you when it comes to how they behave. I can tell you that eBay doesn't support buyers. Well, usually they won't support buyers who are nasty like that. You can get them suspended, or their buying privileges suspended. I've done it. Eddie G says, hello there, guys. Just got a message from eBay saying that I'll be automatically enrolled in the new international eBay program. They will be handling the returns and I can keep the sale. I just think that they handle the returns. I think they would provide the return label to the buyer. I don't know if that, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out my butt there, but I think that there's something that they do. I doubt highly that they're going to refund the buyer out of their own pocket and you keep the sale. And I got the same message, but I shut mine down because I'm not going to have my items scrutinized because, oh, well, you can't send this intubation mannequin to the UK or whatever, right? I don't want to deal with that. So I'll just leave that turned off. So that might be a question someone else can answer because I just totally don't even look at the international part of things right now. Maybe I'll change my mind later. I'm good at doing that. But right now,
I'm good.
Right now, I don't want to deal with eBay. Narcissistic Slots says, do you assume that if an item sells within 5 minutes of listing that you price it too low or that you just got lucky? I would say 90% you priced it too low. 10% the unicorn buyer was on right after it went live. And
it was luck.
So again, if you're pricing it along with the comps, then it's probably the latter. I mean, it just someone happened to buy your item. It came up for them. It matched what they needed and they bought it. They don't have any idea how long it's been listed. But if you're pricing an item that maybe doesn't have comps, you're just throwing something against the wall and seeing if it sticks. Chances are very high you sold it for too low, which is why in that case, I would definitely do an auction. That'll help determine what the approximate market value is of the item. Depending on if it's worth a darn. If it's just it may not have comps, but that could be because no one's looking for it. If it's something old, you can't figure out the value. You know what it is, but you really can't put your finger on what you should list it for. I would put that up on auction almost every time. And what are these numbers for?
Those are the likes at that time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nobody's singing. Wanda Greer says, it's not the matter of comfort, John. It's the fact that we have what we have that needs to be sold. Can't afford to buy other stuff without the turnaround of what's active already. Okay. But see, I don't know what I just did. Okay.
What happened?
I hit a button by accident. So it's not a big deal. As long as you guys can still see us, I think we're fine. But really, Wanda, really the problem is though, you're kind of stuck, right? You're stuck selling stuff that isn't moving. So I'm not saying to take down what you have up for sale because it's not listing. I'm not even saying don't list it. I mean, I'm still listing albums, right? And I know that my time would be better spent focusing on the main store, but I'm trying to keep the momentum going. We're still making sales on the secondary store.
Not today.
Well, you didn't hit the like button. Oh yeah, yes, I think you did. Okay. But well, who knows why that is? If we don't get sales in the secondary store, I'm not so concerned. So what about opening a secondary store? And now maybe you can't afford to buy the other stuff without the turnaround of what's active already, but what are you doing with the money? Hopefully you're holding back money, cost of goods that you're reinvesting. So when you go out to the yard sales and you're finally buying more stock, what are you buying? Are you continuing to buy that same thing? Or are you just, are you maybe not finding anything better? But I think that's the key. You've got to be able to have money to buy new stuff. But what are you doing when you have that, when that's available to you? Are you just staying within your comfort zone at that moment? That's kind of what I'm wondering. And I think a lot of people gravitate to what they're used to buying. They totally ignore the fact that there's something right there in front of them. And had they looked up the comps, they would have maybe seen that, hey, this is something that I can, buy and maybe make some more money off of. So, everyone's got to look at their own situation. And if money is the problem, at some point you will be buying more stuff to resell. It's at that point where you should be looking at other things if you're still struggling. Because I Sense So says, how do you compete with sellers that constantly undercut their items? The average cost of an item would be 25 to 35, and a seller will post the same item for 7 to 9. Buyer expects every time to sell that low. Well, that's just it. I mean, they obviously are either trying to liquidate, maybe they're just trying to blow out items for whatever they can get, regardless of what it originally cost them. Then maybe they made a mistake in their listing. That's why you see comps for that low. but most sellers are going to sell something that makes them a profit. So I'll give you an example. That $10, that $100 item that I have up for sale, if I'm only into it for 10 and you're into it for 30, right? You're going to wonder, how do they sell it for 30 on eBay? Maybe I've had it in my store for 6 months. Someone offered me 30. I'm in for it for 10. I'm going to take it. Now you're going to think that what an idiot that seller is. But for me, I just, after fees, 2.5x my money, because I don't include shipping in my prices like that. I add it to the end of the price. But you're going to think that this seller's an idiot. I just bought this for 30 bucks. There's no way they're able to sell this at 30 and make money. It all depends on what you're buying for. And so that you need to take a good hard look at, as far as, what am I into these items for? And what am I 2xing my stuff every time, take away the fees and shipping and all that, or am I making 10x? And if you're at 10x, you can actually have so much more room to work with to come down and be one of those sellers. Now, I'm not saying you list an item and someone comes to you with a lowball offer, you take it right away. But if you're sitting on an item and you get a lowball offer and you can still make money, it's probably a good idea to take it. So you really just need to look at your sourcing, and that's all it seems to come down to, anymore. We could talk about good photos, good titles, good everything else, but if you're not selling the right things, I think we got to kind of start looking at the market is changing, and things that maybe we were able to sell pretty well 2-3 years ago aren't selling so well, and we need to figure out what will, and that's how you're going to do well in this game. I'm convinced of that. Jovial says John should keep Risushi Flippin' Fanny as their mascot. She would look nice sitting on the shelf beside the neon sign.
No.
Is that what we call it now?
That would be disturbing, because there are so many times where I walk in this room and John only has the blue lights on and he's working. There's no other lights on in the room. And if I had to walk in and see that thing every time.
Yeah. And you know what?
Shaken.
If it was an item that was going to sell for 20 bucks, I definitely at this point would keep it, because it's like, so we were all talking about, but there's no way I'm going to hold on to something that's going to make me $200 to $300 on. No way at all. What a Flipper says, first live of catch. Well, thank you for being here. Awesome. And as you can see, we're behind in the comments, but that's normal.
It's normal.
Edward McHugh says, I have many things that have 0 lookers, so I copied and paste one random item and couldn't find it. Try to Google search too. It's not there. Is it my store listing? So a lot of times you'll have to log out. So maybe, clear your cookies and all that, your cache, and go in and then just do a search without being logged into eBay, and just to see where you come up.
Yeah.
But you might be stuck on page 4 or 5. And that's the thing. You have to figure out, how do I get my listing up higher? And it could be a number of factors, including your promoted rates. Semperfi says, how often do you buy something good comps, but then realize you don't know how you're going to ship the item? Every once in a while. I have these, what the heck are they? I haven't sold one, but they cost me $2. So I picked them up. They have the potential to sell for $200. They're these washer and dryer. It's a part for us, like a Samsung washer or an LG washer.
Oh, the lift. That thing?
It's like
it's a riser.
It's a
right?
a flange shaft assembly for a washing machine, and it sold for I bought it for $2. They sell for like 80 to 100, right? And the thing is kind of weird the way it's shaped. So we're just starting to get into the habit of learning how to Frankenbox, right?
Yeah, there are some times where I just stand and I stare at the item and go,
Yeah, you just got to learn how am I going to get
creative? It's a good thing I'm very creative, because there are some days where, the creativity on these boxes gets crazy.
Says the person who'll give me a 3-pound item that'll easily fit into a flat rate envelope.
That was one time. I was not happy with you, and I was not paying attention.
Happens a lot. And I have to, let me go in and repackage this, because I'm going to save $5 on the package.
That morning, I was not happy with you.
Marvelous Cards says, love the show, by the way. Happy Friday one. Happy Friday to you. Thanks for being here. K-Dog Lewis says, I'm experimenting with different levels of eBay stores, and I noticed when I downgrade my store level, my sales drop off a cliff. When I upgrade my store level, my sales go up dramatically. Interesting. Well, I haven't done that. I mean, we moved our store up to the 10,000 item level with a 300 item store, mainly because the idea was eventually we're going to get more items in the store, but to also be able to sell similar end item process whenever I want without worrying about it. Roman says, Archie, ex-eBay employees with ankle bracelets are also mods.
No, they're not.
Tommy Bernard says, store level 10,000% has nothing to do with sales, or 10,
that's 10
whatever,
whatever,
like, you know, gazillion. Any percentage. That's the correct answer. The best reseller I personally know doesn't have a store, period. He crushes eBay. Yep. You do the right things on eBay. You don't have to toy with a lot of things. We got Baubles, Blings, and Needful Things. Hey, everyone. Well, sorry, hello. Late. Hopefully the scale's working out for you. Picky Ricky says, remote ship nicely to a bubble wrap envelope. I'd be happy to sell them all day long. Yeah, I just want more juice on, juice for the squeeze. Biscuit Butt says, John said, if you buy something out of his store, he'll make you a mod. Yes. Well, you haven't bought anything out of the store, so how are you a mod? Yeah, he only buys from other YouTubers. He buys from whatnots from other YouTubers. Tim McMinn says, hi, John. Regarding servers, odd situations keep happening. I can go for a few days to a week, not only having from flyover states, no California, Florida, Washington, or New York. Very odd. Yeah. Interesting. But, if everyone was experiencing slow sales, if Tommy came on this program and said, you know what, I'm worried, I'm not making any sales, then I would be like, okay, maybe there is something to this server thing. But you're going to have slow sales. You're going to have great sales. I mean, we never complain about that. And I'm not saying you're complaining, but we never talk about the days, well, there must be something like wrong at eBay because I'm selling like 10 more items than I normally do. We just say, hey, this is great. And I think sometimes we kind of remember the good days and expect every day to be like that. And you just got to know that even the best stores have slow days, and we're just going to have to, find a way. If it becomes a pattern, then you got an issue you got to deal with. But if it's not a pattern, it happens once in a while, then you just need to stay the course and just know that slow days are going to happen. Thrift Gorilla says, I just sold a huge lot of miscellaneous remotes that were under $5 to another seller. Sellers appear to only sell remotes. I just wanted to get rid of the inventory. Yeah. When you're moving on, there's nothing wrong with getting rid of stuff just to recoup that cost of goods. Tommy says, hard to find leather shoes that don't look like granny walkers. So sorry, honey, you're not getting new shoes. Did they come to get them? Did they come and get the mail? Can you check? Hard to find leather shoes nowadays that don't look like granny's. Can you check and see if they came to pick up? Baubles, Blings, and Evil Things. By the way, John and Jenna, thank you so much for this splendid scale. It arrived earlier this week. It'll be a valuable addition, very needed. I'm glad. That was the whole point of why we did that. I mean, it's like we could have sold the scales, but it's like someone out there can use this. So that was something we were really looking forward to. We're happy to do. Let's see here. Marvelous Cards says, as a full-time trading card and collectible seller, I find people still want their Marvel trading cards, comics, collectibles, even in bad economy. People love nostalgia items. It makes them feel good. People will take money they don't have and find a way to, buy what they want. It's just the way it is. Sometimes you see people go to the casinos. We're supposed to be, the economy is supposed to be bad, but the casinos and the restaurants still have a lot of people. So it just, some people are going to eat. And I'm a firm believer that you see a lot of restaurants that are very busy, even in a bad economy. I'm convinced it's because people don't know how to cook. That's just my thoughts on that. Baubles Blink says, a little extra personal touch truly goes a long way with buyers now. I can't believe how gracious so many are. Selling has gotten so sterile and automated. People enjoy knowing a person cares. Yeah, it's a nice touch to have. That's why Poshmark had a lot of early success, because they encouraged sellers to do that. Amazon says you could file an extension, pay estimated taxes, and get more time to file. That way, no stress to rush filing taxes if you're not ready. No, I'll be ready. I'll be ready. It's always every year. It's part of my life, just the way it is. I am definitely trying to catch up, so I might skip past a few comments now. Thrift Girl says try opening them quickly in a short span and then refreshing the page. You'll be greeted with an error page. GV Vintage says, wow, it's crazy. 7,000 listings and 5 sales a day. I've seen people with 200 items and 5.5K sold. I can't list 6,000 items, no room. Yeah. I don't know how I do it. I think I would max out at maybe 1,500 items, but then you'd see racks in this room for sure. Let's see. eBay is making me crazy. Do I have to list every day to make sales? Should I have more than 500 items to make constant sales? I haven't figured it out. I have 300 items in my store. Actually, did they come?
Yes.
Okay, good. At this moment, I have less than 300. So I have to get in there, and I have a bunch of drafts I got to get listed.
Sorry.
So it just ran over my foot.
Sorry.
So I think she did it on purpose. But you don't have to have 500 items in your store to make sales. You don't have to list every day. You have to, I would say it's a good idea to list when you can, and every day would be great. Showing everyday activity is certainly going to help, I think. I'm a firm believer of that, but it boils down to what you're selling. And so if you have 500 items in your store, I've got 590 items in my secondary store, and I'm only making $75 a day. If that was what I had to work with, you wouldn't even be seeing me right now. I would be telling you how working ain't easy, right? Because $75 a day ain't going to cut it, and ain't going to cut it for me. Tommy says, you ever see a person that relies on data complain about sales? Only people that think an item will sell struggle. Yeah. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, who takes the time to think about traffic when you're doing well?
We just got a whole bunch of bubble wrap.
Oh, yes. American Bubble Boy delivered.
Tons of bubbles.
None of it's free. By the way, when you click on the link in the description, basically, if you're a new buyer, I get $5. The channel gets $5. So that's all it is. But I figure
we appreciate that $5.
Yeah.
It all adds up.
Click the link down
Maybe
below
Mama
if you need
will be able to buy her granny sneakers.
Yes. John Doe says, I sold a CD that had 4 listings and 0 sales in 5 hours. My price was next to highest, but mine was the only new. Right. But 4 listings and 0 sales, it could be the Jim Neighbors CD that nobody wants. So you got to be careful on that. Amazon said Bitcoin. I don't know what those other ones, ETH and SOL are good buys right now. Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are just worried about how to get their eBay stuff going, you know. Tommy says John's door swings both ways. Last week he was testing Limber Lucy. This week, Lockjaw Larry. What the heck is Limber Lucy? I don't know. Are you the one that's peeping in my windows? Brian H says, if you purchase a shipping label and the buyer cancels their order before you ship it, do you get reimbursed for the label? Yeah. Now with USPS, you just go in and cancel, change your mind or whatever, as long as there's not an acceptance scan. And really with UPS and FedEx, you don't, even if you didn't cancel, they're not going to charge you until it's delivered. Sammy Hall says demographics to if you have GSP shut off like I do, it leaves a smaller audience. America is a bigger state than the UK, so that can only be why some sell more. Yeah, I turned it off right now because I'm going to do this. I'm going to do everything in my power to stay out of the back rooms crosshairs. Someone said after 5 or 6 months, you get dropped off of that list. I don't know. Maybe add it later. But right now I'm making sales without it, and it's just one less thing I have to worry about, which is why I didn't buy that Cricut bat. I would have bought it had it had international sales set up here. Anytime Picker Roman says, Paul, eBay servers are working fine now that they were cleaned out and don't smell anymore. Noah Design says promoting items like advertising. So if an item you put up for $20 and it sells with promoted at 5%, you'll be charged 12% plus 5%. What other eBay fees feels like slapping on that day. Yeah, it is. And right now in my mind, I'm looking at 20% being the average that I'm paying eBay, but it helps. It works, right? Flipping Sport Guy says Tommy's been waiting to go to Vegas. He's joined the Patreon list for shout outs. Yeah, hopefully Tommy's coming out.
Tommy's not coming.
He's not coming to Vegas?
No.
Oh, geez. To the Trash for Cash podcast event that they're having in 2 weeks or something like that. Tommy says, I had 2 down days this week, but it will even out. It always does. I'm willing to bet, though, you didn't start looking at your traffic reports and start dissecting it. Just happens, right? I would only start really digging in your traffic reports when you're 2 to 3 days into a slump, and then something's not right. Tommy says, there's no secrets to eBay. Buy good stuff cheap. Yep. That is true. Trying to get no bullshit says it's a virtual score. If you don't sell, it's like 20 cents. It's like you have to keep the heat on the high. Yeah. To me, look, I used to hate the idea. I would say, okay, eBay wants us to do 2% promoted. I'm going to do 2.1, right? So I can game the system, be above everyone who wants to do the minimum, but that's not enough. I really am convinced if you have something that is sitting in your store right now and you thought maybe it should have sold a long time ago, give it a try. Up your, and I hate to advertise for eBay to get them more revenue, but it's about moving on from the item. Wouldn't you be happy to not only have that item out of here that you've listed 6 months ago, but maybe make a little bit, maybe get your money back, maybe not make that mistake again and buy that item again and get it out of your hair, all because why? You upped your percentage. So what? eBay gets their money. They always do, but you got rid of the item. Hey, Mike, I was getting worried about you. Hey, everybody. Boy, I'm late. Had an interesting to do with eBay customer service that took 2 hours. Well, I'll catch the replay. Well, thanks for being here, Mike. I was kind of worried. I was about to send out a search party for you. John M. Hey, John, I'm pumped. Garage sales are starting here on the East Coast and first town-wide next Saturday. Sales slow and weird issues with eBay searches and lag. Well, yard sales are great. I haven't been to a yard sale in a few weeks. I was going to go this last week, but it's just with everything going on.
He tries to pile on too many things in one day. And
am I going tomorrow? I don't know. We'll think about it.
You have taxes to do.
I know. Pelican's Inchworm says, hey guys, I don't see a link for Prime Lister in your description. I think you mentioned you had a code. Can anyone to chat speak to Prime Lister versus List Perfectly or Vendu? Thanks. Well, I can tell you that, hold on real quick. I'm kind of concerned, though, that there's no Prime Lister in the thing down below. I'll add it if you want to check later. That's weird. It was there before. But nonetheless, Prime Lister is this. You basically can get 2 weeks free. And once I have the code in here, you'll see it. But you can get 2 weeks free, no credit card needed, and they give you up to, I believe, 100 items that you can list without any kind of payment or anything like that. And I'm getting the link as I speak to you about it. What I like about Prime Lister over, List Perfectly, it's a little cheaper than List Perfectly, but it allows you to do some of the automated things like on Mercari, you can go in and tell it to automate the process where you're giving out like a 10% discount on people who are watching your item. And from that, on Poshmark, it does the same thing. Poshmark plays a sharing game. So if you want to do well on Poshmark with clothing and shoes or whatever you're selling, you have to be willing to share your closet. And that's a pain in the butt. But Prime Lister allows you to go in and select to share your closet. We've got 200,000 followers on Poshmark, and it will share it with every one of those people. And, that gets you more exposure to the items and that you would not normally have had. And it allows you to sell your stuff. And to me, that's a benefit I haven't seen on Prime Lister. And the link right now, if you want to go check out the link in the description below, I have it in there. Sorry, I didn't have it in there for whatever reason. It got copied over or whatever. Let's see. So, and then what about Vendu? I can't speak to Vendu. I've never used Vendu, but as far as Prime Lister, it has those features I've never seen on any other cross lister. So that's kind of what.
And it's all automated.
Yeah.
You set it all up.
And walk away. Stepmo says, hello, John and Jenna. Well, thanks for being here. Hopefully you watched we're here for most of the show. If not, please do go back and watch the rest of it. But we're at almost at the 2-hour mark, and it's time to, I think, wrap it up on that note. Look, guys, it's not always the eBay servers. Now, there are going to be days where eBay does some funky stuff behind the scenes, but and you're going to see maybe once a month, maybe an issue that affects your account that you have no control over. But anything more than that, and your sales are constantly slow, like consecutive days, it's time to get concerned. And you could do a number of things. Number one, what are you selling? Chances are you need to really think long and hard about selling some different stuff. Okay. Number two, if you're selling good stuff and it's not selling, what are your competition doing? Are they struggling? Which means that they're selling stuff that's not very good either. But if they are making good sales, all you got to do is look at their solds, look at their store, other items for sale, click on their sold listings, and go day by day and see how many items are they selling. What are they selling every week or every day? You can do this groundwork. Go through about a dozen people who sell the same thing you sell, and now you have the data. Look, is it me or is it what I'm selling? Because everyone else is having problems too. You've got to figure out. You got to know where you are in your market. And I think a lot of sellers don't really know where they are in their market because they don't do the groundwork to know if they need to move on from that item. So figuring all that out, it's just another example of how flipping ain't easy with or without the sign that works right now. And I want you guys to have an excellent weekend. Get out there to the yard sales, find stuff that sells, guys. Pass on the things that do not sell and get uncomfortable. That's the only advice I can give you. It's the same as last week, but get uncomfortable and come back and tell me how it went, because I'm willing to bet that it's going to change for you the way it changed for me. So,
and everybody have a very happy Easter.
Yes.
Yes. Try to take some time and enjoy the day with your family.
Without the eggs, because they're too expensive. But
use potatoes.
But we will see you guys on Monday, and keep making those sales, guys. We'll see you then.